In this video, I'll be going over some fade lineups for bind. I'll be starting on A site first and moving over to B site, and then going just like attacking and then defending, as well as post plant for both attack and defense sides as well. Starting things off from short, one that I like to do is obviously once you've cleared past this area, if you come up to this bottom box on the edge, then aim this little diamond above your haunt ability, just anywhere along this line, and then you want to also be aiming right above there. So I'm just aiming above there until my diamond reaches that line. Just do a normal throw, and you'll find it'll land up here somewhere, and then it'll clear like all this close area. It'll also clear all the way back on the right, and it'll see people behind triple as well. Alternatively, if you want to get it a little bit further, all you have to do is just do a running jump instead and aim a little bit more to the left. Aim like above that part instead, and then just jump right before you hit it, as if you want to jump on top of that ledge. So just aim roughly above here, just jump. When you get towards that ledge, it'll land back here and clear all of like back here behind triple, behind truck. Unfortunately, it won't quite reach there because the max limit is 30 meters, so it won't quite clear that corner, but it still gives you a lot of information about behind triple and all this area. An alternative one you can do to get information about this right side and some of U-Haul as well, if enemies are getting used to that one, just come into this corner right here, aim the bottom left part of your HUD with that corner in the sign there, then just do a normal throw, and you'll find it'll land up on this ledge. It'll give you some information about into U-Haul. It won't quite clear that, but then it will obviously get everything on this right side, some of like right here as well. So do want to mention, while I'm near U-Haul, there is this big like opening in the top, but for whatever reason you can't actually throw projectiles through it. You can see you can't throw anything out of it from inside, and you also can't throw anything inside from up top, unfortunately. For showers, there's not much that you can do from the outside or the inside really. Obviously the inside is closed off. There is this hole in the roof, but there is nothing too useful that you can actually clear this. You can throw it through the roof if you want, and you will be able to clear some of these sort of angles, which you can do that. So for that one, you can just stand on the back right corner of this red carpet back here, then just aim right at that point. Do a normal throw, it'll land in here and clear this close side as well as some of these angles if you want that. And the only other thing really from showers you can do is if you stand to the right side of this doorway, get a little gap here, and then you can throw it on top of truck like that. But in general, I think using the haunt from showers with the lineups isn't great. You can still just bounce it off things, get it further back side and get a lot of information. But as far as lineups go, there's none that you can do without just like standing out in the open, which obviously isn't great. Now let's talk post plant. You're an attacker, you've got the spike planted, and you want to get some information about where the defenders are actually coming from. One that you can do, which is really good, stand roughly around here. Doesn't have to be exact, just up against this box, up against this truck. And then if you aim, like try and keep in mind, you can even ping it to help you. Ping around there, and then just jump and throw. It'll land back here, and it'll give you all this information about how many people are coming through CT. And if you get the timing right, you'll be able to see if people are going up towards heaven, or if people are coming through here in CT. That's probably the main one that I can think of just to get it over the top there. Otherwise, it's really as simple as just throwing it into heaven like so, throwing it into CT like so, if you want that sort of information. And then other than that, like that's the sort of information you want to use right after you find the spike to see where the defenders are coming from. You can just reuse those attack lineups. So for example, you can just come back here, use the same one lining that diamond up, and it'll give you that information about what's happening down here on the spike. Is there someone pushing up? Are they sticking it? What's going on? Just use the exact same attacking lineups, and that'll help you keep the spike defended. Now when it comes to defending a site, I'll start off from showers first. One that you can do to actually get it inside showers is if you see like behind triple, there's this gray area, like this gray outline. Come to this corner right behind it. It doesn't have to be exact, just stand roughly around this corner. Aim at the bottom right part of this red and black logo. Do a jumping throw, and it'll land very nicely inside showers. Bit of information for inside showers. And then if you want to clear outside showers, this one isn't so much lined up with anything, but if you jump on top of this little ledge, you want to be aiming above this bar right here. Then just do a jumping throw, and you should be able to land it outside here, which will give you a little bit of information about what's going on outside showers. For defending a main, there's one really good one to use at the start of the round. If you press up against this box, like a little bit to the right of the barrel is where I like to stand, using this as a guide, almost that line in the ground down there. It's hard to show you exactly where to aim, but you'll just get the hang of it. Sort of imagine like this line of the edge of the barrel keeps continuing, and this line, imagine where they meet, like right around there. Then you want to do a jumping throw, and you can see it lands nearly perfectly up on this edge, and it'll give you all this information about short as people push through. This one is surprisingly forgiving. It's pretty hard to line up your HUD with anything because there's just not much to go off of around here. So your best bet is literally just to, again, stand right around on this line, aim it like there if you can. Basically in the middle of this dark area is the best way I can explain it. And just a normal jumping throw, and again, it'll land up here. Might not clear, should even clear mostly underneath. Some of it I might miss, but as people are pushing through short, this one's really good. An alternative to this, again, clearing this short area, what you can do is stand right here. You will get a little bit of like elevation from this stairs, don't worry about that. Just stand roughly on top of this corner and then aim around about there. You can see there's the corner of the building right there. Aim a little bit into the building, then just do a jumping throw, and this one will land on top of this corner. Again, giving that similar information about short here and who is pushing through main. It's a decent lineup from heaven. The only thing with this one is obviously you are exposed to a lot of angles. So probably only use this one if you think showers is safe and the enemy has smokes up like there or something. You can come and stand right on top of this little corner. So you just stand there like so, and then literally aim directly at the sun. Maybe not too good for your eyes, but it is a good lineup. It lands very, very accurately on this corner right here. So you get a lot of information about what's going on in sight. Maybe if someone's pushing into U-Haul, who's already running back, stuff like that. When you're retaking as a defender, if you instantly want some information right as you're coming through this area, you can sort of line up along this wire and throw it like in between those two. You can see there's this gap here. Just jump it and jump like running through straight through there. It'll land up on top of U-Haul, and it'll give you information about all this area that you can see along here. So again, for this one, you're just running through your spawn, come along the wall here, running through, it'll end up there, and get you this sort of information. This one's good because you don't really have to stop and line up with anything. It puts you a little bit out of your way, like instead of going straight through here, you come a little bit to the left, but for the information you get, it's pretty worth it. Another one for retaking, if you stand on this like brown corner right here with a bit more dirt in it. For this one, you do have to worry about being safe from U-Haul, but then just aim onto this corner of the truck, do a jumping throw, and it'll land on top of the teleporter, and it gives you a lot of information about literally everything in here. That's really it for A site. Again, with a lot of these lineups, you can just throw it over something and you'll get that same information, but when you do want to spice things up a bit, catch enemies off guard, and they won't react to it in time, those are a few lineups that you can throw into the mix. Moving on over to the B site now, I do want to mention, because I know some people will be thinking it, you can't really do much between the two sites. Like the closest you could really get is throwing something over here. Even if you get like a running throw going, unfortunately, you just can't really reach anywhere. You might be able to ping some people in link, but realistically, you're not going to be able to do too much there. What you can do though, if you want to clear hookah coming in from B-Link, you just stand in this corner right here, aim at the bottom left corner of this solar panel, jump and throw, and then it'll clear this back part of hookah here as well. If they're standing right in that corner, it will, if they press up against that wall, but obviously they'll probably be either here or here, like in one of those spots. So you'll probably have to use other utils to clear here and here. But if you're having problems with people sitting on this left side, that is one thing you can clear it with there. Now another lineup from outside of hookah, come back into this corner, aim right there. Just, you can see this thing right here. You want to aim to the top left of that one and just do a jumping throw. You can see it'll very consistently land up here, which you can actually use to clear mostly of under hookah. Obviously default back there, it doesn't reach there, and it won't clear that cubby, but it'll get someone standing in CT in this entire area here. So it won't clear some of the backside area, but for clearing under hookah, it can be a pretty good one. This one isn't much of a lineup per se, but it's very consistent. If you just do a running jump aiming around about here and throwing it from around about the corner of this box, so running jump like so, it'll land right in the cubby. So it'll clear cubby, it'll clear tube, and it'll also clear some of CT as well. So you can see like this entire area from like right here. It'll clear all this. It doesn't quite reach that cubby, unfortunately. So I guess actually if we move it a little bit to the left, so if instead of aiming there, we instead aim there, the same thing, running jumping throw, now it should, it'll actually clear that left side if you do that. So if you move a little bit to the left, it'll still clear tube, it'll still clear cubby, it'll still clear some CT, and it will actually clear that corner as well. Once you're inside hookah, this one unfortunately you can't line up with your HUD. This one's good though if it's smoked off. Just imagine there's a point there and a point there. You can ping those two places to help yourself, and then you need to make a corner in between those two. So right there, just throw it and it'll land up there. This one's gonna take a little bit of practice, just because there's not actually, like, literally if you put your crosshair here, you can see there is nothing that your HUD really lines up that well with. But again, each of these two corners, you want to aim between them, throw it, and it should land right on this corner, which will actually clear cubby as well. It'll clear backside as well, and it'll clear under hookah as well. So this one's pretty good. Now attacking from the long side of things, I will have to actually get the sage out of the way. What you can do from long is if you put the bottom right part of your HUD, you can see there's that little corner there for it, maybe a little bit to the left of that, and then just throw it like so, and it'll land nicely up here, which will clear under hookah really well. It seems like it'll miss just this corner right here, so you might have to... Thing is, if you do it too close to this corner and too close to the right, it can fall off the edge there. So sort of a little bit closer to the right than I should do the first time, but you can see it'll clear under hookah, it'll clear this cubby right here, it'll just like clear anyone peeking garden, even someone peeking out of tube and stuff like that. Another one that you can do is going to be to land up here, which is really good. However, it's going to be a running one, and we all know that the running ones are a little bit more inconsistent. But if you aim at like basically just this sort of area here along the right side of this little box, and then just, it's a sort of timing thing. After a round one step, just do a running jumping throw over the top of that, and it should land up on this corner right here. You can see it clears these sort of cubbies really well. It clears back there, it clears back there, and this one you can see, okay, I didn't get the sage to crouch. If they're crouching, it won't quite clear that one out, but I'll show you that one more time. So starting from this cubby, aiming around about above here, so you just want to use like this line as a guide, aiming above there, and then run right after you hear your first steps. When you want to throw it, you can see that it'll clear all of these different areas. This one's pretty situational, but it's one I found nonetheless. If you come into garden and tuck yourself into this corner right here, under your prowler ability, in between the two different charges, you can see that little handle on the door. Put that right in between the two charges of your prowler, do a normal throw, and it'll land right up here. It'll clear out there, it'll clear under hookah, it'll clear there, it'll clear there. All the good angles on B side. That's mostly it for attacking the B side. You can get it back on top of that ledge up there. And what you can try and do for that, again, you'll be very exposed right here. Might be better to do this one inside a smoke. You can see you want to be aiming right around here, and you want to throw it as you exit the archway. Basically, it's just aiming up there and then throwing. You can see I was actually aiming a little bit above that, but still, it'll land up here. And this is really good when you've got people hiding in these sort of cubbies here, and it'll clear out all those. Now, post plant on the attacking side of B side, so you've got the spike planted. You want to see what's going on the defender side of things. Come to this corner right here, and you want to aim right around here. So I'll wait for this ping to clear. You can see just this sort of area on the side of this box, right in there. Just do a jumping throw, it'll land right up on top of this corner, and you can see the entirety pretty much, like anywhere closer than that ping, it'll clear this entire area here as people come in. It'll clear out all of those. Realistically, in general, if you want to clear the defender side spawn, you just want to aim basically anywhere on the left side of this window, just running, jump, throw it over, and it'll still clear these same sort of angles. Coming through here is probably even better in some cases if you can get it to land down here, because then it'll clear like all the way up through here as well. Whereas if you're landing it up here, whereas like they're not going to shoot it from down here, you won't get the same information coming into the actual angle here that they'll peek through. Now for the defender side of things, one for clearing out the outside of hookah. It seems a lot closer than it really is, so you might think you can just come over here and throw it, but there's actually a giant area down here where it'll land a lot of the time if you don't run and do it. So what I recommend is you want to keep in mind you're jumping roughly off this corner and aiming roughly around there. So you just aim a bit above that, jump off this corner, and you can see it'll land up on top of this roof, and it won't clear right along this left edge here, but you want to use this a few seconds into the round as they're already pushing into hookah. Maybe they're in this area, Anywhere along here it will clear, and if you get to aim a little bit to the right of this corner is when it'll be landing right on the edge. But the only issue with that is obviously going to be the consistency of it, because the closer to the edge you get, the more often you will miss. But yeah, that's a good one for clearing outside of hookah. For clearing long at the start of the round, I will literally just peek and throw it like that. I don't often use a lineup, so you don't really need a lineup if you're playing from garden and you want to clear out of this area in long. You can alternatively throw it up here and get it up along this roof. It'll still clear that same area, it's just an alternative way to do it, and it's more likely to catch them off guard. And then there are a few lineups from back towards side. One of them, if you want to come into this corner towards elbow, then aim right at this little orange point. I can't ping it for some reason, but literally right where I'm aiming here. Just do a jumping throw, and then it'll stop quite nicely on this edge. And then obviously anyone coming up long, that'll clear. It'll clear that corner. It'll clear all this area just in long for B. You can get at the same point from this cubby right here. If you tuck yourself into this corner, aim just under this little thing here, just under that, and it'll go quite nicely once again on top of that ledge. Another one to get into the same spot, stand in this corner, aim at the sun, just throw it, and again it'll be landing up in this area. It won't quite clear under this one, but you still get that same information without coming up long. And one more from a little bit further back for long. If you just stand along the edge of here, aim on top of, like, basically at the bottom of that ladder, and where I put that ping where the grey box and the ladder meet, do a jumping throw, and then it'll land again up here, clearing all this long area. One of the really good things about the haunt ability is because it like raises up from where it lands on the ground, is that it'll actually come on top of this box and it'll clear this corner. So you can see even if it lands right there, it'll actually look over the top and clear out that corner, so it'll clear out that corner as well. So there's not really a lineup for hookah on defense. If you just throw it deep into hookah, it'll basically clear out the entire thing. Only place it really won't clear is this corner, which you can see from like half of the site anyway. When it comes to retaking the B site on defense, you can do a running one from jumping like around this corner and aiming a little bit to the right of the sun, and you want to get it on top of here. So aiming around about here, running jumping throw, it'll land on top of this corner. It's a really good one. It clears this cubby, it clears under hookah, it'll clear mostly backside. If you're having trouble getting it to actually land up there, you can aim a little bit more to the left. The only issue with that is sometimes when you get it more to the left, it won't clear right in this corner here, which isn't too much of an issue when you're retaking, because you can just see that straight away. Mainly you just want to make sure that you can clear like here, maybe back here as well, stuff like that. You can get into a similar spot by standing on this like line on top of the wire right here, and then aiming at this line, do a jumping throw, and this one will pretty consistently land on top of here. The only issue with this one is that it doesn't clear quite as much as landing it on this corner, but again, it's a more consistent way of getting it up there. But I found just in general so many times running through the defender spawn, if I'm just aiming it like roughly around here, throwing it roughly as I reach this corner, so often it'll land just on top of here and clear out this sort of angle. And if you throw it a little bit later even, you can see that is when it's going to be clearing more of these back areas. So it depends what you want to clear. If you want to clear more this side of sight, throw it a little bit later off that corner. And if you want to clear more the front side, or like this side of the site, around these areas, that's when you want to be throwing it a little bit earlier. Throwing it over this area is basically the only way you can retake onto B site per se, just because there's nowhere else to throw it through. You can't really line up anything here because this is the main place the attackers are going to be looking for you to come out onto site. And then once you get to this point, you may as well just start using the general defender lineups, where maybe if you want to clear out and check who's holding long, you'll just come back here and throw it, and then you can see, okay, someone's in this corner in long. There's not too many retake lineups, again, apart from just throwing them from back here. The main one I would practice is just trying to get on top of that ledge from back here, just like so, because this one's really good. It'll clear out this whole area. I'll play a clip now of me using that one in game.
I'll find you.
Jesus Christ.
Marked one.
But yeah, those were the lineups for bind, both A side, B side for fade, of course. I tried making this one a little bit shorter compared to my last one, because I did ramble on for quite a bit there. So let me know what you guys thought of this video, let me know what maps you want to see next, all that sort of stuff. Otherwise, that's it from me for now, and I'll see you all next time. See ya.